public meeting of May 11th, 2020 of the Township of Washington Township Council. Adequate notice of the meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act by the Township Clerk to at least 2 newspapers on May 5th, 2020. And this notice has been posted on the Township Bulletin Board electronic message board, WCTV, and on the Township website. Salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to
the flag
of the United
of the United States of America,
and to
to the republic
for
which
which
stands
one
one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Okay. No approval of minutes. I'm going to say prior to the meeting starting that I think the best interest of the council.
Wait, I'm sorry, Stacy, are you on a different phone tonight?
Yeah. No. Why?
Because you're a distance and you're breaking in and out. You're coming in and out.
Is that better?
We could try. Thank you.
Okay. Is that better or no?
It sounds all right.
Okay. Sorry.
No. Let's try that.
Okay. In regards to tonight's meeting and the 2 items on the agenda, I'd like to push the LVH.
Stacy,
Yeah.
shouldn't we do a roll call?
Oh, sorry. Roll call. Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm on.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Oh, you don't sound okay. You sound tired.
Yeah, I am.
All right, hang in there, girl. Councilman Casio.
Here.
Councilman Cumming.
Here.
Councilman DeSena.
Here.
Councilwoman Morgan.
Here.
Council President Feeney.
Here.
Let the record reflect also.
Yes, and in attendance is our town administrator, Robert Tovo, and township clerk, Sue Rukowski.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm trying to make sure my phone's still working. Okay, in regards to tonight's meeting, based upon information just received this evening, I think it would be in the best interest of the council, and let me know if you agree or disagree, to push LVH's motion for Monday, and also reintroduce the budget for Monday's regular council meeting.
Stacy, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time understanding you. You're garbling. I'm really sorry.
No, it's okay. Can everyone else hear me?
No.
Okay.
Yes, I heard you.
Okay, so for Mondays, I'd like to push the LVH vote till Monday and the introduction of the budget till Monday.
Why?
I just think that information was received today, and it would be best interest if everybody had time to review it, and then we can discuss it on Monday before tonight's meeting.
What information was lacking?
Was the amount of the surplus and also the LVH proposal you just received tonight.
What's the amount of the surplus today?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What is the amount of the surplus today?
1.6.
Okay. And that's what we're going to have in reserve?
No, the reserve amount based on the email you received was around $4 million. Just over $4 million.
And how did the surplus go up to 1.6 or 1.5?
I don't have that answer. The mayor's not on the line, and I believe that there should be a response from Mr. Turbo. But also, again, I think the best interest is to push the vote until Monday so everybody has time to review and pose additional questions so that everybody's questions can be answered.
That's fine with me, Steve.
Okay.
Do we have an answer who will authorize LVH to increase it?
Sure, for Monday, but I can try to get it to you sooner.
Well, you know, the only
going
people
to-
that can increase it is the council, and I don't recall doing that.
Again,
I don't recall
Mr.
talking-
Cassio, we don't have all the
Miss
answers,
Feeney,
and that's why we're
Miss
trying
Feeney,
to get
that's
the
not the
answers
question.
so that it can be,
That's not the
so everybody has the right
The question
information
is-
for Monday.
The question is, the only people that could approve that budget item is the council. I don't remember talking about it. I don't think anyone else talked about it during a budget meeting. So how does the number change out of nowhere?
So the number was
When the
always
five
on the
people are
revenues
the
page.
5 people that are on this phone call right now would be the only people to effectively change that number.
So the number
Was it
has been on the
changed or was it a
revenues-
recommendation?
It was a recommendation. So the number has
So
always been
then it was changed. It was changed
So
from
the number
1.5
was
to 1.6.
1.5 on the revenues page from day one. So let's just be clear
Right.
about that. The change
Yes.
is from 1.5 to 1.6. There is
correct.
not a change that the surplus number has just been introduced. So I just want to be crystal
That's
clear.
That's
We
a
need
change.
to get this, find out who made the recommendation to LVH, or did LVH make the recommendation? So we need to get that answer. Mr. Tobo, could you please work on that answer?
Mr. Tobo, did you make that change?
Well, we're discussing it now. We're holding off till Monday.
Well, I wanted to know.
now.
Okay, and I,
Did you
Mr.
change
Tobo,
it, Mr. Tobo? That's a question.
based on information in the budget, was the
Ms. Feeney,
information
I-
based
Ms.
upon it?
Feeney,
We really want to know if
Ms.
the
Feeney,
number was based
I'm
upon
asking
the
Mr. Tobo a
recommendation from
question.
LVH or where
I
the source
expect
was
you
from.
recognize. Ms. Feeney, I'm asking Mr. Tobo a question.
It's
I
Mrs.
expect you
Feeney,
recognize.
just to be clear.
Just to be clear, Mr. Tobo, did you make that change?
We had asked
Yes or no
LVH to
question.
run. Excuse me?
It's a yes or no question. Did you make that change?
Well, I don't believe it's a yes or no answer.
It is a yes or no answer. It was a change to authorize the change from 1.5 to
Councilman
1.6.
Casio, please let Mr. Tobo
Ms.
respond.
Feeney, I'm talking, and you're not talking.
Mr. Casio, please let
Sorry,
Mr. Tobo respond.
You do not.
Can we,
reason
we've
that
been 2 minutes
respect
into this
each other,
phone call.
And I'm
I
expecting
cannot
an
hear
answer
you.
from Mr. Tobo.
Well, you're
Now,
not
if
letting
he
him
can't
answer.
it,
Let him
I
answer.
understand it. It was a simple question. Did he change it or did he not change the number from 1.6 to 1.5?
I think,
Mr.
It's a
Casio, are
very,
you finished
it's a
now?
very simple question.
Are you finished now?
Yeah, and I want an answer to the question.
Okay, Mr. Casio, are you finished now so Mr. Tobo can respond?
Yes.
Mr. Tobo, please respond in the manner you would like.
The mayor and I asked LVH to run 3 different scenarios, applying 1.5, 1.6, or 1.7 to the budget in an effort to bring it more in line with the school increase. And the 1.6 number did in fact accomplish that.
So, Mr.
you
Tobo,
changed-
based upon LVH's review, you're going with LVH's recommendation for 1.6 to bring the number in line with the school. Correct?
Correct.
When was LVH elected to this council?
They don't have a say in
Hello?
the budget.
What's that?
LVH does not have a say in the budget, nor does the administrator, or does the administration. It's a council decision.
That's why I asked, when was LVH elected to the council? And the numbers that LVH ran show a $1.5 million with a $140 increase. I looked at my notes, I printed it all out again to make sure I didn't have an old copy, and it never showed 1.6. And it's definitely never showed 1.7.
So Mr. Tobo is not saying that he's saying they asked them to run the scenarios. And if the email that you received that they received from LVH says that that's the scenario.
No, it does
Are
not.
you-
It does
is
not show
it
that
the
scenario.
position, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, Mr. DeSena. Is it the position of yourself and Mr. Casio that although they are the advisor, that they should not have had any input into the budget at all?
Well, Desiree, when were you told of this input until right before tonight?
That's how come we just got the information. That's why Stacy's
No, we
trying
got
to
it.
push
We
it off
got
so
it
we
in a
could.
finalized budget package that
I'm sorry, I
changed it
can't
from
hear you.
1.5 million to 1.6 million.
Right, and it was being presented tonight to try to push it
No,
off.
they
so that we could
finalized it.
discuss.
They finalized the
It's a
budget.
finalized item.
We have a final budget document in front of us that was sent to us in our packet over the weekend that finalized at 1.6. And the questions
It was delivered on Thursday.
It's not
You
a
are
working
correct.
document.
That's even worse,
Final
Mr. Summers.
I can't hear you. Very mumbled.
Everybody's very mumbled tonight. I hate to say it, but you're all very mumbled. I don't know if you're on speakerphones or what you're doing, but I'm even having a hard time tonight, and I normally can understand you.
Mr. Cummings said we got to pack it on Thursday. That is correct.
Correct.
All the questions Dr. Cassio and I are asking is, when was all these different alternatives presented to the council, which they were not? And that is the question. I agree with them if they want to try to save the tax impact. Nobody's denying that. But the problem is that they are not the elected officials. We are. These are all things we should have discussed before we were presented with a final document with a change in it. That is the only impetus of this whole conversation.
But we can still change it, is why Steve wanted to talk about it on Monday. We can change it moving forward.
It's a final document, Desiree.
So it's only final if we decide that it's final, though. We can always go back to the table and say we don't agree with this. This wasn't on there. Correct?
And that's what Dr. Cassio and I are doing.
Right, but it doesn't have to be such an all-out war, Mike, is what I'm saying. The message is getting lost in the delivery. We can all agree that Monday we can talk about it. It absolutely is.
We received the final package with a huge change in it without our knowledge.
Okay,
Correct.
And that's in the
making a motion, you see there?
Where is this final document? That is another
It's in your
final
hand.
document. I got a
the
document on
big
Thursday night.
packet you got, Art, that says 2020 municipal data sheet. That is the new
Yes,
final
sir.
budget that we're supposed to adopt tonight, introduce tonight for adoption.
Right,
what I
and she
thought.
immediately 5 seconds into it said that we weren't going to. So why are we having such a heated discussion when
Desiree,
Stacey...
we can all come back as Monday morning quarterback and change it tonight. Tonight we're supposed to be introducing the budget. That's why Stacey got the meeting set up. That's why we had a special meeting tonight, was to introduce the budget. And now when this question comes up, we're going to table it till next Monday so we get the answer. The question is who gave LDH the authorization to change the council's, and I agree with Stacey, the $1.5 million was in that sheet we got from LDH. There was no comparisons of the 1.6 or the 1.7. Mr. Tovo may have those. We do not have those.
No,
but
I don't disagree
wholeheartedly
with you at
that
all.
1.5 was presented to us.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all. What I'm disagreeing with is the attempt was there by our council president to put this off because she too was not 100% clear on it. There was nothing saying, she wasn't pushing it, let's vote, let's finalize this, what it is. It's the approach and the message that you and Mr. Cassio jump all over is where it gets lost. We can move on and do something, talk about something else. We can agree that this is not something that we approve. This is not something that we had any prior knowledge of. We can agree to that. It's the way we've got to stop fighting so much.
Yeah, but Desiree,
We're not going to get anything done.
And
Desiree,
We're
did you find that
We're
mistake tonight?
talking.
if you don't want
Desiree,
the
did you
answers
find
to
that
the questions,
discrepancy tonight?
I saw it. Yes,
Mis-
I saw it.
Mr. Cumming, did you see it?
I haven't seen anything new since Thursday.
The 1.6 is new.
I don't know where that is.
Okay, so we can move on. I just want to be a little more mindful of, first of all, the residents don't need to hear the negative hashing out. Of course we want to do what's right, and we can do that without being so horrible to one another. This is not
Nobody's
We're not
being horrible
horrible,
to one
we're
another.
asking
No, all right, then
the
good. Then
questions.
we can move on.
we're asking questions, and we are expected, and I'm required to get answers.
100%.
That's my
It's just
that's
the
my
delivery
job.
of it
And
that
if I
makes
don't-
it such
if I
a
don't ask-
defensive
if I don't ask the
between
questions and I don't get the answers, then I'm not doing my job.
I
And that's what I'm
understand
here
that,
to
Mr.
do.
Cassio, but there's a way to get your point across without coming off as such a, in such defense and so divided. We're here for the same
Excuse
reason,
me.
and we
You can
agree that.
present- you can present
Excuse
the
me.
way you wanna
I'm
talk,
just saying. I'm
Miss-
just
Miss-
saying. I would
Miss
like
Morgan,
us to try to get along
but
a little bit better.
here-
That's all.
here-
Moving forward.
I don't like to be cut off in mid-sentence, as no one does. But that's what seems to happen. If I ask a question, I should get an answer, okay? And that's just the way things are. I don't like to be put off. The questions are not difficult, they're very simple. So here's the thing. I look at some of these documents, and there's things all over the place. And it's not being performed the way it should be. And that's when I have an issue. Now, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not new to the game.
I
I know what
understand
to
that,
look
but
for, I know what to say, and I find the stuff. And if you don't want to hear
there's a value to that. I 100% I agree. There's a value
So,
to that.
this-
It's just
this
that your
is my
message
job.
gets lost in the delivery, is what I'm saying. It becomes very
I'm
defensive
sorry,
and everyone
I'm
shuts
sorry you
down.
don't like my delivery. I apologize.
It's not me. See, please stop being so
That's-
defensive. I understand what the problem
I'm
is.
sorry if you don't like my delivery, but that's the way I deliver the message.
Impossible. That's fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Can we keep moving, please?
Yes, let's open the public discussion, and then I think the best interest is to move the vote for the budget and LVH to Monday. Okay.
What about the budget cap?
I think my recommendation is to move the vote to Monday.
There are three ordinances. Calendar year 2020, ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank.
Yes.
That
we
one
need to vote
too?
on that. When
That
does
one also?
expire? Is that Monday?
I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Stacy, do you want to open up the general public and get the comment out
Yes.
and then move on?
Yeah, let's do that. Hold on. Okay. General public discussion, limit 5 minutes. To participate in the general public discussion portion of the meeting, please dial in on 201-664-4659. You will be asked to state your name and address for the record, and we ask that only one person speak at a time. Please note that at the end of the general public discussion, no more calls will be accepted. Motion to open the public discussion. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, hold on a second.
Okay, thanks, Sue.
You're welcome. Hello? Hello? Anyone there?
Yes, hello?
Hello?
Sue, could you do me a favor and take notes? My connection's really bad.
I am trying to do the best I can with those notes when I can understand you guys. I sure will.
For the general public, just so that
Yep.
I don't miss anything.
Shall do.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, who's on the line, please?
This is Michael Ullman.
Good evening, Mr. Ullman.
Good evening.
Madam President, you ready to listen?
Yes, go ahead, Mr. Ullman. Sorry.
Thank you. Very interesting discussion about the surplus. I have not had an opportunity to listen to 100% of the budget sessions, but where was the use of the surplus discussed previously, where we were at the 1.5 and where the alternates for 1.6 and 1.7 were requested? I'd like to go back and listen just so I can familiarize myself with the discussion.
Sue, I had a really hard time hearing from Mr. Ullman.
Okay, he has said that he wants to know where it was discussed previous to the 1.5, the alternates of 1.6 and the 1.7. The discussion on the surplus, he'd like to listen to it, so he's asking if someone could point it out to him where it was discussed. He has not listened to all the meetings, but would like to have some help of where it was discussed.
Again, it's been previously stated. I'm under the impression.
I'm sorry, Sue. My apologies, but I'm not understanding the reply.
Ms. Stacy, what was your response?
Sorry, again, it was previously stated that we don't believe it was discussed. I have to confirm that. But that's why we're making this time now to discuss it. But I believe the best time to do that is going to be Monday after everybody reviews the information that the council has received in their email.
Mr. Ullman, did you understand that?
The only thing I think I really heard was that it hadn't been discussed previously.
She said she does not believe it was discussed. That's why everybody's got the information. It will be discussed on Monday evening.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is, I know the auditor has been pushed off, but may I ask what other firms were considered was there a panel of council or a committee who performed the interview? And since Lurch Vinci are now performing so much advisory, how we're introducing quite a bit of conflict with them as providing this advisory and performing their audit services. And when I look at the January 7th agreement between the town and Lurch Vinci that was executed by Peter, or Mayor Calamari, excuse me, you know, I guess I'm not following. We had an auditor, Lumai, and we had an advisor who was Lurch Vinci, and now we want Lurch Vinci to be our auditor. I haven't seen an appointment of an advisor, and I'm a little confused as to how this is moving forward. If they're advising us on budget issues, if they're doing reconciliations, they do review and reconciliations of the general ledger, they review and reconcile the tax collector bank rec, and these are all invoices from prior periods, and I'm assuming it's like work is continuing. How we are appointing them as our auditor, and how are we obviating the conflict of interest between their advisory and consulting and their auditing? And is an advisory and consulting going to be appointed by the mayor?
Sue, I honestly only got about half of that. That was very echoey. So if you could send me those notes, and I'll have to get back to Mr. Ullman. So, I'm sorry, it was just very echoey.
Okay. I will. I'm not sure what's going on tonight, but, you know.
I don't understand, and my apologies to you, Ms. Wachowski, and I'm not saying that you are the reason. Clearly you're not, but how are we having a public meeting when no one can understand each other? The public can't be heard. The council can't be heard.
This is one of the first meetings we've had where we've had it.
It's actually ridiculous. And I really doubt that this meets the requirements of an open public meeting if no one could hear a friggin' thing.
So it has been clear that it does meet the Open Public Meetings Act. It's similar to what other municipalities are done. We are looking into a virtual meeting process where there's a video conference with a better quality of speaking. However, it hasn't been found as of this moment, and due to the recent Zoom security issues, it was deemed that Zoom should not be used. So just so you know, that's been the recommendation from the administration and the IT department on what we should be using to continue with the meetings. So it's not a recommendation from council, just clear. I don't know if Mr. Ullman heard me, Sue.
No, I didn't hear you either because the fan was going, and I just got up and I turned it off because it was loud.
Oh, Sue, I'm sorry. What did you say?
I said I just got up to turn off the fan in here because it was loud and drowning everybody out.
Oh, okay. So what
I apologize.
We're doing the best that we have with the technology available to us. It was determined this is the best way to have an OPRA to meet the open requirements. And then also, we did look into virtual meetings such as Zoom, but due to the recent security issues with Zoom, and it was recommended to not use Zoom, so we are looking at other options, which hopefully I'll have some information on Monday. The company I'm trying to corner to not able to get me the information because they're very busy because they have a secure server. And we're doing the best we can with the technology. It was recommended by the administration and the IT department to not use Zoom. That was not a council recommendation, just so everyone is clear on that.
Council President, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Can you go back to your landline?
Yes, I can. In a few minutes, I can.
Because I think that's a lot of the issue with you tonight. You normally come over loud and clear, and tonight you are very garbled.
Okay, sorry.
Exactly, and I don't believe this meets
Mr. Ullman, I'm sorry, but your 5 minutes
public
are up
meeting.
also, just to
If you can't understand.
to everybody on.
Well, unfortunately tonight, Mr. Ullman, it is not working the way it's been working. And yes, we do have our glitches now and again, but it is a secure line that the council can talk on It is going right into our recording, which is going right into our server, and, you know, in that respect, yes, we do meet it.
I understand.
But unfortunately,
but
tonight's garbled.
meet the requirements of an open public meeting.
Mr. Holman, I'm very sorry, but your 5 minutes are up, and I do want to be fair to everyone on the line.
Is there anyone else on the line that would like to make a comment? If there's anyone on the line, please speak now before we close this portion of the meeting.
Motion to close open public discussion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Again, I would,
All in favor?
all in favor, sorry.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, I do want to push the portion of the LVH vote till Monday. Is everybody in agreement?
That's fine.
Anybody have an issue with that? Okay, so we're gonna postpone the vote till Monday for LVH. Did everybody receive the documents from Sue in their packages, in their emails? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Did everybody get the email this afternoon
Yes.
with the proposal?
And
Yes.
the other agencies.
Please talk.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, it's Stacey, we only got LVHs, no other agencies.
Lou May was the same proposal as prior years. I didn't get a proposal from Lou May.
I'm sorry, Stacy.
I did not receive a proposal from Lou May.
Okay, I thought you,
I will send you over what I had,
From,
okay?
yeah, but I don't have a new proposal now.
Do you want that, Stacy?
Yeah, you could send that. You could send that to me, and then if it's because I believe it carries over from year over year.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I believe it carries from year over year.
Because I had gotten a new one for him, assuming that he was going to be appointed for 2020, so I have one for year 2020 I can forward to you and the council if you'd like.
Oh, you do? You have one for 2020?
Yes, I do.
Could forward that. That'd be great. I did
So-
not know that.
That's okay. Send it out to everybody?
You could send it out to everybody, please, and CC Mr. Tobo and Mr. Mayor also.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello?
hello, we still on?
Oh, yeah.
Hello?
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 I'm still here.
Hello? Hello? I'm still here.
Till we say goodnight, Gracie.
I think, Stacy there?
Stacy, are you here?
Just trying to call in from the landline, possibly. I don't know.
As So my question was originally, are we postponing all three of the ordinances? Or an ordinance and two reses?
Yes,
Until next Monday?
to our regular meeting.
And the emails I'm supposed to look at were sent out by you at 4:45?
There was a few that came out, yes. Please, if you could look at your emails from late this afternoon and one just before the meeting.
That's the additional information that's
Yes.
relevant to the budget?
Yes,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Hi, sorry about that.
Much better.
And that's it. Okay, sorry. I'm having problems with my other phone. Okay, did you guys continue on?
Barely.
Okay. Great. Okay, so we're moving the LVH vote till Monday. And
Councilman Cumming was asking about the ordinance and the two resolutions, if they were going to be postponed till Monday, and I said yes.
yes, they are. Does anybody have anything else they want to discuss tonight before we move on?
Can the LBH give us a summation of why we need to pass those three ordinances?
It's not three ordinances, Mike.
Two.
No, it's actually one. You have
Resolution
the
and
cap one,
ordinance.
right. The cap one is the ordinance, and then you've got the introduction for the budget.
Okay. So we're not introducing the budget tonight, or we are?
I would like to push the budget introduction till Monday so everybody has enough time to put their questions forward and to review the information they received in their emails late today.
Do we need an extension by doing so?
Sue's going to call. As long as we introduce by Monday, we should be fine. We have till the 18th. As long as we introduce by Monday, we should be fine, but Sue's going to call. I already did discuss that after, before the meeting started. I wanted to see if it was an option.
We'll be able to advertise for Monday, all right?
It's a regular
Yes,
meeting, Mike.
it's a regular meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just meeting swamp, so sorry. I'd also like LVH to get discussed drainage projects in our budget, and we voted it down. You know, on private property, we had those drainage projects, and in the capital budget, they show a huge appropriation being bonded for drainage projects. I'd like to know
That's
more
right.
information. Thank you, Mr. Cummings.
That's right.
The
I'd like
line-
to see what that's for also.
Yeah,
Excuse me,
there's
Mike.
$295,000 and 175 of it to be funded in future years, with 125 to be used this year. So I'd like to know what that's for.
Mr. Tovo, could you acquire that information and get it to us before Thursday?
I certainly can, but I don't recall that being voted down.
It
Yes,
was
I
voted
believe, Mike, is that when we were talking about the
private
the
property.
lines in the street not going on? Yeah, right. That if it was in the street, we were okay, but if we found that it was on the private property, we were not okay with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought that
voted
we.
it down.
That's right. And we were going to get clarification from an engineering report.
Right.
Correct. But we did not
Right,
vote
Mike?
that.
Wait, hold on, Mr. Tovo. Let's clarify before any statements are made. Mr. Tovo, was the information sent out for the engineering reports for those dollars?
I just received it on Friday, so I can send it out tomorrow.
Okay, so if you can send it out tomorrow, that would be great, and we'll go from there. And also, if you can, and then I think that'll help with that answer.
But a vote was
Understood.
taken in the town, so we have to add it.
So that will
Well, I think
address-
again, Mr. Cummings already said that we were waiting for additional information to make an actual determination. That's what my note says on that line item, that we were waiting for the engineering report.
I have it as 0.
I have a note saying we're waiting on the engineering report.
And we will move tonight, Stacy. That's why I have it as 0.
You know what, that last statement, I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
I said if we wouldn't have figured it out before tonight, we wouldn't have been able to introduce tonight if we didn't have the information. So that's what troubles me, because I have it as 0 that we voted.
Okay, so
and
now that
Art
we
said
know,
no.
so now
Art said no. Mr. Morgan said no. I said no, and Dr. Katzer said no.
So Mr. Tova's going to send the information out, and we'll go from there.
But can we have Sue check, because we did take a vote and it was voted down?
And I didn't bring my notes with me tonight, so I will check.
Thank you.
We were not going to go forward with it until we had engineer explanation, because
Thank
we
you,
were
Mr.
not-
Cummings. Yes, my notes say that we were waiting for additional information before we moved on that line.
We did,
Right.
though, clearly state that if it was for personal property, we were going to say no, though. We did have that.
Yes, that was
Yes.
fine. We were just waiting for more. I know we were waiting for information from the engineer.
I know, but again, we have a final budget in front of us now, Stacy. We should have an answer to that before we finalize.
That's right.
Thanks.
Right.
I don't disagree with you. I just think we all understand that at this point. That's why I'm saying let's push the votes on Monday.
And I think we've agreed to already, so. But we can't get that information at 4:45 on Monday.
I just asked Mr. Tovo if he can have he's going to send the engineering report to us tomorrow. Mr. DeSena, please let me finish.
Mm-hmm. You can
I
finish.
just said to Mr. Tovo if he could have the other information to us by Thursday, and he said he would send us the engineering report tomorrow.
Okay, it also snowed on Saturday. Thank you.
So here's a question. You're going to have two budgets, one with the number and one without the number?
I don't know yet. I have to we'll
Because if
probably
we're gonna
find out after we get the answers from LDH.
Well, if you're going to introduce it, right?
But I don't know until I get the answers from LDH. I don't have an answer for you right now until we have all the answers back.
1 second. Hold on. If we haven't discussed it, okay, how can we decide what's going to go in the document?
That's why I had Sue that's why I talked to Sue about another extension for her to call. I already stated that. So I'm trying to say if hopefully maybe we can introduce it on Monday. If not, we'll have to go back. Again, I don't have an answer or what's going to happen until I have the other information.
Mrs. Feeney, will we also be provided with Mr. Tovo's 1.6, 1.7 analysis of the surplus also, so we can discuss it?
Mr. Tovo, could you forward that to the council, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Since you already have it, we should be able to get it quick, right, Mr. Tovo?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe everybody my recommendation for the five of us is if you have questions or concerns of what's in the document right now, please email your questions by Thursday so I can take a look and see exactly where we stand and make a decision on how we're going to proceed on Monday and how much additional time we may need in order to introduce the budget. Is everybody good with that?
You're going to need at least one more meeting after next Monday because we're going to.
I don't know that's why I'm asking. Let's see what everybody's questions are.
Well, you can't. Let's say we all had a question, right? And then we have to come to a consensus. You can't do a consensus outside a public meeting. You can't do it. So you're going to have at least another meeting after Monday. Because you won't be able to have a final document because we haven't discussed line items.
So if you could send a list of the open line items outside of the surplus, that would be great.
We have the surplus, the drainage project, the...
Sorry, what?
The surplus, the drainage project.
That's what Councilman DeSena, if you would please submit your questions outside of the surplus because Mr. Tovo has that. If there's additional questions or concerns, please send them and we can get the appropriate answers. And I would prefer to get everything in writing so there's nothing misconstrued or misunderstood. So we can move quickly to get this closed.
I know, but in agreeing with Dr. Cassio, if we have to...
But we just keep
agree to
rehashing the same statements 100 times. Wouldn't it
But
be
you
more
can't do
prudent
it.
and productive
You
and
can't do it. You
proactive
can't do it
to
that
get
way.
everything in writing, send
But
all of our
Stacey, I was
questions and
talking-
concerns
Stacey, I
out,
was- Stacey, I
and
was-
then have a
Stacey, I
final
was
list
talking-
and know exactly where we stand?
Stacey,
You still
I
have
was
to talk
talking-
about it on Monday and vote on line item.
All I was saying is I agree with Dr. Cassio that Monday night we couldn't introduce, because if we all agree that these drainage projects are on private property, that number has to come out. So that the budget presented would have to...
I didn't disagree with anybody. All I asked was, I'm not disagreeing with anybody. What I'm saying is, if everybody could submit their questions, you'll get the engineering report. If you feel like it should come out or it should stay in, that's the whole point of what I'm saying. You now have the information in front of you. Submit your questions, okay? And let's see where we actually stand. That's all I'm saying. What I'm saying is let's be proactive, let's be productive, get your questions in writing, let's get them out to Mr. Tovo and the mayor if we have more questions and need more information. If we have our questions down, we will not have this back and forth, and we'll have an exact answer of where we stand. That's really how we're going to get this closed.
But we won't have an answer because we have to discuss it.
I didn't say we weren't. Who said we weren't going to discuss it? I didn't say anything to the sort.
We said we'd have an exact answer. We won't have an exact answer. We'll have the numbers to...
No, I mean an answer to your question. That's what I mean. I mean an answer to your question.
Next Monday with questions to where if we don't discuss it before Monday, we can't adopt it on Monday. That's all Dr.
I didn't say we were adopting it on Monday.
Saying the same thing. She's saying the same thing. Mr. DeSena, she's not saying that we're gonna adopt it on Monday. She's saying have all of your questions so they're all answered. So Monday we can discuss, and then we can the next meeting or however many meetings we're gonna need after those, we can finalize it.
Thank you,
We can have
Mrs.
it
Morgan.
fine.
But my original question was, do we need a budget extension? Which we do, because we aren't going to make Monday. That's the whole.
And I already said, I already talked to Sue about calling. I already had this conversation, and I've actually said this a couple of times.
We have to file an
It's a guarantee.
extension. We ain't making Monday.
It's a guarantee. Right.
I will call tomorrow.
Sue, please confirm that I did speak to you about this earlier.
Yes, we did talk about an extension. And I said that if it doesn't get introduced tonight, I need to call and I will make the conversation with the DCA.
Yes.
And she's going to ask me why. And I'm going to say we need to. That's all. What are you going to do?
Well, we had more questions.
That's all. More questions, we'll get it.
Again, if everyone would please submit their questions so we would have the answers to discuss further, that's the whole point of what I'm saying about submitting your questions. If we have the answers in writing and the whole council is aware of the answers, there will not be any confusion, anything misconstrued or misunderstood.
That works for me.
It'll be good as long as we get the information before 4:45 on a meeting night.
Yes,
Wow,
Mr.
I like
Turbo's
that, Art.
going to have the information for us by Thursday. Yes, that is what we've been discussing. That's why if you can get your questions out tomorrow so we can have the answers by Thursday, that would
Who
be
do they get
great.
sent to? Who do they get
Can you
sent
please send them to Sue so she can forward them to the council and Mr. Tovo so we're aware of everyone's questions?
All right, as soon as I get a description of the drainage project, then I can formulate my questions with a reasonable grace period.
Thank you, Mr. Cumming. Okay, is everybody's clear on what we need in order to move forward?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, a budget extension from the state.
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Thank you, Mr. Cumming.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Cumming. And please remember to send your questions. If your questions aren't received, we are not going to be able to move forward. So please make sure if you have any questions, they are submitted so we can get them answered by Thursday.
Okie doke.
Okay?
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Anybody second? Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.